Hi, everybody. This is Danny Sanders, also known musically as Black Widow, the official Chosen Few Festival blogger, here with a special interview today with the Chosen Few DJs. We're going to recap the first Chosen Few Virtual Festival. So, without further ado, let's check out the Chosen Few DJs. Now that you've had a few days to kind of recover from the day's events, how do you think it went overall?
I'll start. I think it went really well. Obviously we had a few minor glitches from technology, but that's to be expected when you're trying to stream something like this over 9 hours or so. But I think we're pretty pleased with the turnout. I think we had somewhere in the neighborhood of 90,000 views, but that's not even counting. Most people had a watch party and they had three or four people at their house, or
Right.
10 people at their house, and the truth of the matter is it could be hundreds of thousands, I would imagine, that actually saw the broadcast. So
Mhm.
we're pretty happy about it.
Yeah, I think to add to that, people don't understand when it's live. Expect mistakes and unexpected mistakes, and I think that we did everything that we could do, and I think I've seen a lot of streams. We pulled it off. The production was good, the sound was good, and obviously we got cut off a couple of times, but that was out of our hands. And I think for the
Sure.
first one, all we can do is learn from our mistakes and move forward for the next one.
Mhm. Any
Yeah,
thoughts on?
I have to agree. I think, whenever you do something new and you're trying it for the first time, you're gonna have things to learn from. And but overall, I thought we did a really really good job. So um, I'm very happy as far as that's concerned.
What I loved about it, and I guess I was able to kind of see it in real time, is and kind of going live in between your sets, there were so many people checking in from all across the world. Like I was a little thrown by it initially, but it would be like checking in from Australia and Italy and London. Somebody checked in from Morocco and all these different parts of the United States. And it got me thinking, everybody at this one moment is literally tuned into one program, together worldwide. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. Have you guys been able to see other people's watch parties or photos or videos? I know we asked that people tag the chosen few, but have you guys seen any of the stuff that happened online?
I haven't seen anything yet. I would love. So if anybody that's watching this got a moment, please send it to us. Like I would love to see it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot. There was one kind of watch party in New Jersey that I saw online with a bunch of folks there that were kind of really into it. But to your point, I mean, I think this confirmed our suspicions or what we believe, that there are a lot of people around the country and around the world that know about this event and have wanted to come to the event. And when we provided them with an alternative way to attend, the turnout was pretty massive. I think that's what we always suspected and we believe, but you never know until you do it.
Yeah.
So that was really encouraging to see not only a national audience, but to some degree a worldwide audience.
Hmm. Absolutely. There were a lot of people I saw. Um, One girl had her home decorated like a luau, complete with like a whole roasted pig.
Wow.
She had her deck was completely decorated with like the Hawaiian lace. She had it gorgeous. So I got to send you those pictures. But people really took the time to like plan a watch party the same way they would do planning to come out to the park, where there are a lot of people that do themed tents. It may have been a lot easier because you're not lugging stuff down Stony Island, you're just lugging it from your garage to your yard. But I really thought that in spite of everybody not being in the park, it was still that sense of community. That is what the Chosen Few Picnic is all about. It's about bringing people together, and you just did it in these smaller clusters. And I know Nikki Devine and I were talking that night, and we were saying this was still very intimate, you know, the same way we would hang out at the picnic, being with our close friends. We might see other people along the way, but the people in our tent are the ones we were really there to kind of intermingle with and dance. We were dancing on the patio at times. So it wasn't the same, but like I said, you know, we weren't in the park, but we were still together. So I think in that respect, the music, like you said, was outstanding from beginning to end. The performances, we were having a ball, as you saw on our live feed. So I think overall, and what I've heard overall on social media is that people really enjoyed it. They want to get back to the park, but because they couldn't, this was the next best thing. And you did have a lot of people. I saw that you posted Queen Latifah was tuning in to the Chosen Few Festival and tweeted about it, which I think is super dope. And I think the exposure, there are a lot of people who have wanted to go for years who, for the first time, got to attend. So I think in that respect, I really think the word kind of spread even bigger. So I'm excited to see what 2021 looks like, you know?
Well, yeah, I agree with you. And we're not done with 2020 yet. We have some new surprises coming up as far as that's concerned as well, that I'm sure you will hear about really soon. I think, but yeah, we're excited, you know, we're excited for the people who tuned in, and we're excited about the exposure, the worldwide exposure as well. And I think that creatively, you know, we'll just grow from here. And you know, the engagement of our house nation is really fantastic, and the people, you know, it's truly about love and unity. That's what we're about. And I think that you know, even through the ups and downs, you can tell, you know, the people roll with us through the hiccups that we had, you know, and we're you know, really, you know, positive when it came to that, knowing that we were trying something new for the first time as well. But they knew our intention was to give them, our intention was to at least give them something that other than not trying anything. And I think they understood that, and I think that was good.
And it still was a house holiday weekend. You had pre-parties, you had an after party, so we still had that kind of same, you know, we kind of planned for a weekend of events, so you still had that. And I thought that was really, you know, that was just really great for us. So I didn't feel like my 4th of July was completely ruined, because this is what I do and have done many 4th of July. That is not the 4th, it's my house holiday weekend for me. So is this something that you think you might incorporate in the future, even when you get back in the park, the idea of possibly live streaming the event?
I think we probably will. I mean, we haven't made a final decision about that, but we've been having those conversations. I mean, I think the streaming phenomenon is like here to stay. It's just become so entrenched into the DJ scene and the music scene that, you know, I don't think it's ever going to go away. So I think hopefully there's going to be some combination of, you know, in-person events and streaming. But this experience, I think, has taught us that it makes a lot of sense, even when we go back into the park, to make this available for people that can't come to Chicago and can't otherwise attend the event. So yeah, I suspect we will.
Absolutely. I think, like Anna said, it's definitely a, and I think if you look at we always say radio might have a problem or whatever, but I really think that the streaming, when people follow their favorite artists or DJs, is that live streaming will replace, if you was to tune in to your favorite radio station to hear a DJ's mix, I think people will want to have that option to be able to peek at for a second and listen to them. So I think that's a very important, like people, since all of the social media stuff, they want to be in your business. They want to feel like they know you. They want to feel like they connected to you.
Yeah.
Stream, even though people are fatigued because of the COVID thing, it will even itself back out and people will dial in to their favorite artists and really enjoy the live aspect from it.
There will always be people. This is an annual tradition for people. Like I told you guys, there are people who start the day you guys announce the date and they start planning, the logistics of, pulling this off. You guys pulling all that stuff together. There are people coordinating how many grills and how many things that they're going to bring. So I don't think it's the attendance, you know what I mean? If anything, I think people are going to run to the party next year because we're just so excited to get back to it if we're, God willing.
But I think to get back on track, I love it, man. I just, it kind of gave us a feel when we did our closing party with Mike Dunn to kind of, it felt good to play on a sound system and have some bodies in there moving, but it's still a little too early for me because afterwards I felt like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think once we get back to where they come up with some kind of vaccination, people, it's nothing like that live experience. Because again, for artists like us and performers, is that we feed off of that. So you will get a different performance, I feel, live than we just done.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do.
We'll know that. They want to feel that energy and they want to get into it. And, so I don't think nothing is going to stop when we can get back to doing in-person events. Nothing's going to stop that. The live stream will not hinder that. That will only be for people that are in another city or another country that can't make it.
Right.
That we can now give them their full experience to say, hey, and the rest of the people there, all that's going to do when it evens out to me is going to make the people that's tuning in from different states and different countries to make plans to that next event.
I still think it's on people's travel list. If they plan to go, they're coming, But I do think by opening up a live stream, you are going to enable people who may not be able to travel for whatever reason, work or whatever, to be able to share in that live experience too. And even by adding, these little interludes with having me kind of come in on your social media in between was even another way to stay connected throughout the day, between the sets. What was it like? I was going to ask because it had to feel different being in a club for the festival,
Yeah.
When you guys are used to, especially by the time you guys get on, the crowds are out, that had to be a different feel.
Yeah, I mean, it did for sure. I mean, part of that for the viewer side, I mean, I'm happy that we were able to sort of bake into the program. We showed a lot of video of past picnics and drone footage and all of that. So, we were determined not to just be what people see every day during this COVID period, just watching the DJ.
Right.
And that's it. So we were really pleased that we were able to kind of pull that off and bake that in. So hopefully that was meaningful to some degree for the people that were watching, or at least not as boring as just staring at us our whole set.
Right.
But the flip side is, I mean, we're used to feeding off the energy of that crowd, and so it was tough. I mean, we were in a nightclub, kind of an empty nightclub, and it was a different thing. But I think the three of us anyway. I mean, we were all looking at those numbers,
right?
All day, so we knew how many thousands of people were tuning in. So personally, I just, had that in my head that, I can't see them, but it's a couple
Absolutely.
100,000 people or so out there
Absolutely.
watching, and you just gotta, perform accordingly.
Absolutely. Like, I tell you, it was a whole. I think when we play at Chosen Few, when we see that crowd in front of us, for me, there's like this nervous excitement, like,
Yeah.
I can't wait. It's not a nervous like, oh Jesus, like all right, man, my nerves is bad. I need to play right now. I need to get this stuff out of me. Versus Saturday, I was so nervous. That was just a whole nother nervous that I've never experienced as a DJ. And that was, Lord, please let the stream just go all the way through. Lord, please don't step down. Lord, please don't cut off. Please don't cut off. And I'm like, all right, ain't nobody saying. For the first 20 minutes, I was just looking at everybody out there like, ain't nobody running to their computers trying to fix nothing. Okay.
Right.
That was my nervousness and different from live events.
Yeah.
That must have been why Wayne wanted to go on at 1:00.
There you go.
Get it.
There's a method to my madness. But yeah, well, for me, Danny, I think that it is such a void. It is such a void, and even though it's a lot of people watching, but it's weird. It's like you don't get that,
Right.
And so I think that no, it's just the best way I can say it is just really strange, for a DJ, for me at least.
Yeah.
I think I had a message in my music, so I was concerned about getting that across, and that's kind of like my first, not concern, but first thing that I want to accomplish, and but after that, you just kind of like playing records, and even I would look out. You know how a DJ normally does, look out into the crowd, and I'm like, I had a dancer though, thank God, right? I had a dancer because I knew I needed something,
Yeah.
and I love that, but not to see a lot of people, I was telling somebody, I guess a couple of days ago, I said early on when I brought disco to the South Side and played it, I cleared a lot, I cleared some dance floors, right? But I haven't had that feeling in a long time, and it was kind of like that. That was the feeling, like the no one on the dance floor energy, no one staying on the dance floor, and that was weird to me, because that's not a good feeling, let me tell you.
Okay.
So,
And I
but
think about it because we were all still connected. We're still together and partying and had our cocktails, but you guys, the actual ones that are providing the music, have no idea that we're in our respective jobs having the time of our life. You know what I mean? So the disconnect, which is very strange, between the dancer and the DJ, which never happens until recently. We still felt just as connected because but you do that, you know what I mean? And I guess I hadn't thought about it from your perspective, how it felt for you guys to play where you couldn't see how much fun and how much joy you bring to us.
Yeah, in fact, it was even worse than like what we've been doing during the shut-in and the pandemic, because chat rooms have kind of taken the place of our ability to interact with the audience. So when we do our lives on Saturday night for me and Terry on Thursdays and Wayne, here and there, we're at least still in the peak at the chat room. Just some kind of reaction and some kind of interaction, but on Saturday for a formal event like that, it wouldn't have made sense to be staring at our phones. So it was even less connection than we normally have when we're live streaming as DJs. So it was even stranger, I think.
I think you brought up a good point, because one thing that I did notice with each of you all set, there was a message in between, a song that was played, a speech. Each of you guys really spoke to what's happening right now, whether it's the pandemic, just the emotions. In addition to the happiness, the joy, the love, but there was something in there that when you look back on this festival, or if you replay it, you'll know what time you were in. Was that intentional on each of you all's part?
Well, individually, we never really tell each other, what we're going to do. I think because we're so busy in the creative mode of doing it. So by the time you get there, you just do your thing. But I think that part of me was the, of course, the message, and because of what's going on in the world today. And then the other part of me said, I better play some records that at least I like, so I could get in the groove, right? So I could feel something. And so for me, that was kind of part of it, making sure I played records that I felt as well, and so I could be dancing and grooving, and get into it, since I didn't have the crowd there. But the message was also very important. And again, Danny, you're right. I noticed the other guys as well brought messages to what's going on in the world. We're all very understanding of what's going on in this world today, and we definitely felt that was important as well.
Yeah, I definitely felt like I had to do something as well. I ended up starting off my set with the Aretha Franklin, "Someday We'll All Be Free," and that was just kind of a nod to what's going on in the world right now with Black Lives Matter and the whole racial awakening, if you will. Yeah. And it's risky. It's risky as a DJ, especially when you're not getting feedback and seeing people's reaction to it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna walk out on this ledge and start with some Aretha Franklin gospel. And it's either gonna go over well or it's not. But
yeah, it's like for me, I had a friend of mine, close friend of mine, daughter just passed, and I dedicated my set to her. And the first record I started off with was "Take Me to the King."
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the things where you talk about, I didn't want to make it a somber thing. I wanted to be a celebration for her life. And I'm going around that day like, man, I have to do something. I just feel it in me. Spirit was calling me. And I'm asking Wayne and Alan, man, what record should I start off? Not when it comes to like Gospel House and I'm playing something that, it comes to me. I don't have to ask nobody nothing, but I was just kind of stuck.
Right.
I needed assistance on, because I want to play the wrong record and have my whole set go left. So to go back to what you're saying, it was definitely a message and meaning, and people felt it, because I'm gonna tell you, I received several messages from people that felt that lost people, and I think that's important. And so to touch on I think that's a great reason to have a DJ brotherhood and family like we do, to be able to feed that information to get feedback from. And that's what people don't understand. We ain't no just crew. You know what I mean? Right. We just crew, like we family, like, yo, this what happened. I need help because I don't want to, throw this off left. And the both of them, I came to the right record and was giving advice to them, and it actually helped turn my set off. And that's what Alan was like, yo, I'm starting off. He told me before, I'm starting off with Aretha. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I'm good. So I love that between what we do and what we have as a crew with Chosen Few.
Because afterward we did get feedback. Before you just don't know, right?
Right.
But afterward you get feedback, because I totally got a lot of feedback when I did the Martin Luther King "Not Now" speech. Not now. We're like, we're done. We're like done just taking crap. Not now.
Right.
And so you know, and that, quite frankly, that was my beginning. Can you feel it? Like the whole Jackson, that whole song is pretty much about Michael Jackson and the Jacksons saying, you know, we got to stop all this, you know, racial discrimination. The blood inside of me is the same blood inside of you, you know, and so can you feel it? Can you feel the world come together now, you know? And you know, I think that, and you can see it through the marches, especially with the younger generation today. Can you see the whole world is starting to come together against this racial discrimination crap? And that's why I started with Can You Feel It? You know, so yeah.
What a lot of what I heard, the overall summary was, man, we needed this right now. We needed a day to gather with our friends as safe as possible because we miss them. We haven't seen people. We needed a day to feel as normal as possible, you know, and have music and kind of do things the way we normally would. And people were craving that just because life has just been so heavy. So there was it was an air of anticipation and excitement leading even your pre-shows, the pre-live shows. I just felt a different energy in all of it because people really were just like, I'm ready to just release and enjoy, you know, something that I do every single year. And I know for me, I know Nikki and I were talking at the table and she was just like, man, this just feels so good. And I was like, it does. Like we were both just kind of listening throughout the day, and the overwhelming sentiment, either online or even at the virtual party that I was at, was like, we needed this. And I think in that regard, you guys did exactly what you guys do every single year, is bring people together, surround them with great music and that good vibe that you get at the Chosen Few, which is a feeling of reunion and community. And it's one of the days where everybody's loving on each other. We were able to still do that. And I think that is what this year's legacy of the picnic is going to be, you know, in the middle of all of this and revolution and political ridiculousness and pandemics, you guys were still able to give people something very special. Do you guys feel like this is something that is part of your legacy? Like when you look back over the history of the Chosen Few, you're going to remember the year 2020, the year doing virtual festival.
I think 2020 is memorable already. But I hear you. I'll let Alan go or Terry go with that one.
Yeah, I would just say I'm starting to feel that way, honestly, based on, you know, things that you're relaying to us and things that we're seeing online, you know, since the event has been over. I mean, that's the most we could have possibly hoped for, was people feeling the same or anywhere close to the same when they leave the Chosen Few picnic, when they watch the stream. I mean, if we were able to engender feelings anywhere close to what we do with the live event, we couldn't possibly ask for anything more than that. So I'm going to accept your suggestion that this was special. I think we're starting to feel that more and more as the days go past. But.
Absolutely.
Really, I would encourage you guys, if you can, on your page to look at some of the live streams, some of the live moments and some of the comments. And it was just love from around the world. It really, really was. And that's what, for me, you know, I've always known, you know, you guys are a worldwide brand, but I got to see it in real time and interact with people, you know, who were like, oh, it's 2:00 in the morning here and I'm staying. You know, it was just it was such a great reminder for me of how music is the great unifier, you know, and there's so many things right now that are dividing us. And to see all of these different cultures and countries unified on one day talking about the Chosen Few, their love of house music and their love of a particular artist or song, which one of those things for me personally, like my spirit needed to feel and see this, because I can get overwhelmed by the stuff that I'm seeing on social media or on the news on a regular basis that would make it seem like we just all are so completely divided. But things like this remind you of our commonality and the things that we have, this shared experience. We all had this shared experience together. And I do think 2020 for you guys is a very special year, different year, but definitely something that goes into your legacy when you guys are looking back, and how you took a pivot. That's kind of been my little choice of words with interviewing different creatives during this time, is how they pivoted during the pandemic. And I think this is right up there with everybody else that's been doing different things too.
No, I was just in agreement and saying I appreciate everything that she says. So I'm in agreement. Woo!
Well, I do think we need to give Danielle an exclusive though of something we have coming up. I
was laughing because when I saw it, I said, "Oh, that's around my birthday. That's around Leo season. So what is it?"
I'll let Alan give the surprise and the exclusive that you will have, Danielle.
Well, I'll just say this: on July 24th, we are part of an event that is going to give house heads an opportunity to get out in the public, but still safely and socially distant, and come together outdoors or in your car, outdoors or in your car.
Oh.
To enjoy not only the chosen few DJs and a performance from us, but also a movie. So it's going to be house music and movies on July 24th, and a lot more details in the coming days for that. But it's really a cool concept and a cool idea, and we hope folks will get excited about it and come out and support it.
I'm already excited.
First heard on the
Danielle.
First heard with Danny Sanders, absolutely.
Oh, it's gonna be great. This is
it should be a lot of fun.
Exclusive. I'll be at the Chosen Few drive-in, whatever, with table and disco ball centerpiece. I'll have something.
There you go. There you go.
So I think we'll have more news about that coming soon.
Very soon.
We'll see more information about this event on social media or the Chosen Few website.
Oh, absolutely.
Everywhere. Yep.
You can put up in there, special Leo kickoff celebration.
Boom. Boom. Leo's house.
But thank you guys for allowing me to cover the event this year. I did not think I was going to be, doing anything with you guys. So I'm very happy that I was able to do it. I got some great interviews, and again, being able to interact with Chosen Few fans was so much
Great
fun.
job, Danny.
Yeah, we appreciate you, girl.
Yep.
All right, so another Chosen Few is in the books. We'll see what happens as we go forward. So thank you guys for talking with me again.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dan.
See you at the movies.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.